Question 1288. Would you rather live in a world where money was not a concept, or a world where the credit system did not exist?
Oh, let's have no money.
No, is it capitalist society or?
Say again? Well, that's up to what you're designing here. It's basically no money or no credit.
Let's have a socialist system like they have in Star Trek.
So there are credits.
Yeah, I would like an advanced socialism
They don't
that has
have
no
credits.
money at all.
There is no money in Star Trek.
No money, no credit. Just complete chaos.
Just everything is abundant. There's no reason to try for anything.
Yeah, but people still try for achievements.
Well, everything's about the resources anyway. Money is just a representation of that. So even if we had no money, you'd still have to have some form of credit because you get paid at the end of harvest.
Yes.
Capitalism was invented by people who had no ability to create an inner motivation, who were just too shallow to understand that you can achieve just for the sake of fulfillment and for the benefit of others. That's all capitalism is about. Not people who can't understand that or exist under that sort of supposition.
But you still have limited resources.
Capitalism is weakness, plain and simple.
Yeah, I agree, Jen.
Ox says no credit system. James says credit means you can be and being monitored. Not necessarily. I mean, at the end of the day, we had credit before we had debt before we had money.
We did. I think because there are people who want to have, and if you had shared resources, you'd soon get back to a bartering system, even if you removed all money, because it's in human nature to be greedy, unfortunately. So I don't think people would share.
I disagree, Ox. People who use credit to obtain things still have to pay for those things.
Yeah.
All they've all done is credit just alters timing.
Well, this is why I said this is why debt came about first. This is why debt came about before money.
Yeah.
Because you had to deal with the harvest. The people that's got pigs that are grown here, and the people that've got eggs over here, and the people that have got the corn over here, they all happen at different times. So you have to have a debt system to work out distribution of that stuff on a local level.
Yeah.
Oh. So people seem to. I think the problem is people are thinking about the modern credit system.
I'm thinking I'd rather have a world where you didn't need money at all, where everybody just had what they needed. If you have a post-scarcity world, you do not need money.
We will never have a post-scarcity world, or only for a brief period of time.
Why do you think that?
Because energy is limited, ultimately.
And the coordination necessary to have nothing be scarce at any given moment is impossible.
Oh no, I think for
a
given moment in time,
geological
it's
distance.
doable for a moment in history. You could do it for 1,000 years.
You could do it
because
longer
as long
than
as your
that.
population is small enough that the amount of energy required to do everything is less than that society. But as soon as your population increases,
how far back coinage exists. Coinage exists in times earlier than the Romans.
Yeah.
If you could gather 1%.
Into BCs and stuff, coinage and money have just are like a natural part of humans.
Coinage was not used in the way we particularly use it pre that.
Back to post-scarcity. If you collect less than 0.1% of the solar output of our star, you could easily have a post-scarcity society with 1 trillion people in our solar system.
Yeah, but still the population would continue to increase.
Yes,
That's
but
the
your
point.
technology rate would also tend to increase, and you'd be in the position of being able to build craft that could get to other solar systems as well.
I think what you have to understand at the system we got though is that we've been last sort of epoch, last couple of 100 years, or maybe less than that even, but we've actually we lived in a world where there shouldn't be enough goods produced, that there shouldn't be scarcity. That's what I think so messed up about our system is this is the only system in human history that people have gone short because there's too much and not enough. Just what's so fucked up about it.
I think it's hard to say there shouldn't be scarcity. I think there shouldn't be scarcity of certain things.
Theoretically, there shouldn't be.
I agree with you, Jeff.
There shouldn't be
and
planned
there is-
scarcity.
I mean, it's
Agree.
it's the fact that that we can overproduce, we overproduce like crazy, and people still people getting poorer and poorer and having less and less. It's
but
what's
again,
so crazy about it.
We overproduce some things.
We overproduce a lot.
We
lot of
overproduce
things.
essentials,
Yeah.
like food. America produces so much food that we have to give it away or throw it out.
And we
mostly
overeat
throw it
too
out.
because of that overproduction as
We can
well.
we can overproduce energy. We have done.
I don't need 75 different choices for cereal in the morning. I don't need 45 different choices for.
Well, I
hand
think
lotion.
money tastes bad anyways.
It does.
Well, it does. Get newer bills. They are flavored less.
You know how many G-strings that shit's been in?
That's not the taste I'm worried about.
Right. James says credit is spending money you do not have. That's not necessarily true, but generally yes. Seraphim says no credit system. Spooky says wouldn't the first would entail the second world in your question? If not, I don't understand the phrasing there. Sorry. Say again? No. Okay, he said if you got no money, you got no credit. No, we had a credit system before we had money.
Yeah.
Ricardo says, how can you have a credit system without the concept of money? Again, that predated. It was exchange handle. It was offset, but it's offset bartering.
Bartering is a credit system. It's not
Bartering
money.
is credit.
Credit,
That's a good example.
even in relationships. In relationships, there's credit. For example, I'll go. You go down on me, and I'll get you next time.
68.
That's credit.
Yeah. But I think what it is people. Is people, and it was mentioned earlier. People, it's difficult to get the mindset out of the credit system we've got now and we're used to.
Yes.
And that's I think where people are tripping up on this. That it's not necessarily the sort of credit system that we are accustomed to now that has existed in the past.
I mean, ancient credit systems, really ancient credit system would be like, I'll paint something on the wall of your cave if you'll make me a wheel.
Godless Sewing says, get rid of the credit system because it's slavery. James says, take care of the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. Seraphim says, I need a pedicure.
Not true.
I don't see how that's relevant.
That might be true when you're managing your own personal finances, but that's not how an economy works.
No. Ox says, maybe I'm old school. I always taught to earn it, work for the goal, not to clear the debt. And it's one of those things that people get messed up about government borrowing. Government borrowing is a good thing. Levels you can argue about, but government borrowing is a good thing.
Yeah.
Again,
because
within capitalist society anyway.
Because generally people look at the economies the same way they balance their own books, like their own personal finances. It's not the same thing. It's not how. It's so people think, we're in the country's massively in debt. It's like, it's like that because they think, we got all save and whatever, like you would do if you got into personal debt. And it's not the same. It's not the same thing at all.
Chad Hall says, "Ooh, monetary theory." The credit systems opens up capital as debt in our current post-capitalist hellscape. At that point, you can't go back unless you adopt socialism. Socialism. Godless Sewing says get rid of the credit system because it's slavery. I think I said that already. Lone Wanderer says no credit system. Ox says man need to learn to take care of the planet he is on now instead of wanting to go and ruin other planets. Again, the problem I've got with that is that there's an awful lot here that's not discussed in terms of motivations and why. The thing that comes, I saw later on that James says capitalism produces things we don't need. Why would that matter?
No, capitalism produces the things that fulfill the needs that the market supposedly wants, verbalizes, or seeks out and chooses to
My
purchase.
point is,
you can offer anything you want, but unless
Yes.
people are willing to take it.
but that's
the
my point
capitalism
is why are
increase-
needs important? Why are wants
cap-
less important?
The capitalism doesn't create the demand. The people create the demand if the product is available.
It depends
Welcome to
on if it's a
marketing.
good enough salesman or not to talk you into
That's-
you needing it.
Well, but that's kind of a question of human weakness and
How do you explain
fallibility
diamonds?
more than
Right.
economics.
How do you explain
Yeah.
diamonds?
Exactly.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
useless-
It's become a real
diamonds are a complete
philosophical
scam.
argument. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
But they're
well,
not. That's
not,
the
no.
point.
Diamonds are one of the most common materials on Earth.
Yeah, and
Carbon is very, very common.
yeah, and the thing is that you had, I mean, effectively with diamonds, you had De Beers, who were effectively a cartel that controlled that market for so
And made
long.
it worth a fortune.
and made it worth a fortune because for a number of things they controlled how much came onto the market every year. So they would definitely obviously restrict that to inflate the price, and then they really kind of created the kind of myth of that diamonds is really worth a lot more than it actually is.
Yes.
Not only
Oh,
that,
it's better
they
though. You
somehow
think that?
convince
Oh, sort of like
people that
American
natural-
healthcare.
Yes. It's worse than that. Don't get me started on American healthcare because that's fucking
But
brilliant. Wait.
it's worse because they can somehow convince people that artificial diamonds aren't as good as the natural
Oh no, it's
ones.
worse than
which
that
is
though. The point is,
bullshit.
they have convinced the artificial and legislated where they can that the artificial diamond market will never be sold as jewelry.
Yeah.
They've managed to keep them out of the thing that would massively be for the public good and reduce the fucking cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And artificial diamonds are better.
Yes.
In what sense? Because of clarity. That's really
They're
their only
flawless.
selling feature.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's flawless.
Well, we can make them bigger. They've got better clarity.
We can dope them with whatever you want.
Yeah, so you can make whatever variant colored diamond you want when you make it.
I mean, I
I'm
remember
not
when
Security
necessarily
is
disagreeing.
not
I'm
Stacked
just-
a little bit straighter so they can use them for industrial saws and things like that for cutting concrete.
Well, see, and
steel.
that's
So
what
the fake diamond is
But-
proves that diamonds are
But they're not fake
not
diamonds,
valuable
they're
and
No, no.
real
uncommon.
diamonds.
But they should
That
have
they
been.
can be
This is
used
one of
as
those
a
things.
consumable tool.
We should have had diamonds. We should have had diamonds in our tools and our electronics 50 years ago at a
Yeah.
reasonable
Oh, yeah.
price.
Yeah.
But De Beers stopped that. It took the invention. I mean, I remember when we first made artificial diamonds and they were unbelievably expensive, and yet they were still cheaper to use for tools. And it's taken years of development, and now we can actually buy the damn things in tools in a disposable manner, even though it's something
And they've
we should
actually
have had.
made it better because there's a new technique for making artificial diamonds, which means you can manufacture them at room temperature.
Excellent.
So even cheaper to make, even make bigger ones, and have more control over the manufacturing process. In every way,
sounds like something I
every way,
squeezed out this
man-made
morning.
diamonds are better than natural ones.
Be prepared, folks. Opals can be made artificially
they can.
as well. Most people don't know that.
Hmm.
In fact, you can make opals in your home laboratory.
Excellent.
If you learn how, you can make them at home.
Right.
And it's
Wow.
absolute bullshit that I'm an expert. I can tell the difference.
No, you can't.
Well, depending on the quality of the build,
Yes.
if you can fuck up the process and make them very artificial because they have, for example, too much fire, you can give an artificial opal too much fire and then they look very artificial.
All right. Back to the thing. Chad says, there will always be some means of credit or ration resources in a local area. If that credit takes the form of money, I'm not a fan. But it somehow needs to be needs-based anecdotal social credit. Now, obviously, James says capitalism produces things we don't need, which is how we ended up here.
Yep.
Ox says,
Literally.
back onto the thingy. See, US Southern gentlemen are taught that it's always women first. Anything with government in it is not a good thing. Look at welfare in America.
See,
that's not
such
true.
Bullshit hypocrisy.
Yeah,
Women
that's
first.
bollocks.
It's women first until it comes to paying them or promoting them.
Oh, sorry, you're
making
talking
them
about. We're
equal.
talking about the government one.
Right. Yeah, we're on.
The government one. The problem is, governments. You go around the world, you will find governments done well, and you will see governments done badly. At the end of the day, governments are just people. You put people in power that will exploit and be exploited. That's what you end up with. And in the US right now, you have a fantastic system set up of people that are exploiting your country for massive gain. You have convinced your poorest
we
people.
got stuck with a great pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, you've convinced your poorest people that they don't want to tax their rich people, even though it would make their lives better.
And that government is a bad thing.
Yeah. James says capitalism creates demand. It does, or can. Chad says capitalism leads to fiddling with details while overall production stagnates. That's an interesting idea. The problem is, right? Capitalist theory in terms of competition is good. Capitalist theory in terms of capital going up is bad.
What kind of dovetails on that though is what I think is a major flaw of capitalism is that this isn't like a dynamic. This is like a reality. If you have a business and it's capitalist, if you don't grow that business every year, it's going down the tubes.
Oh, well, this is what we've got in the UK. The problem we've got in the UK at the moment is, right, we have lots of small businesses. Okay? And we've traditionally been called the nation of shopkeepers. Right? Now, these businesses aren't growing. They're just small businesses sustaining families, making money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's it. That's all they're doing, and that's fine. But the problem is, since the 70s, the 80s, that's not enough anymore. If you're not making if you're not growing it, you don't have a viable business.
And you see a lot of, you see a lot of what small businesses are now gone, and it is big corporations of some kind or another that have filled that void.
Yes, entirely.
But not necessarily. A major business will come in and buy minor businesses just to put them out of business.
Yes.
And then not replace their place in the market, but just have them gone.
Well, look at what Walmart's done across the entire United States.
Oh yeah, and then the moment that Walmart is no longer able to push around a local government, they walk away and have a waste of real estate with no tax base.
Right, just let me catch up on the chat because it's relevant, because I've missed over the diamond things. Ox says, the part of man putting so much value on rocks is what gets me. Completely agree. Ricardo says, misogynist comment, I disagree. Diamonds are a guy's best friend. Diamonds are widely accepted tender. They're not widely accepted tender. That's the problem. You actually try and sell diamonds, you get fuck all for them.
Yes.
But you're sold that you're told that they're worth something, but they're not.
No, they're not at all.
Lone Wanderer says, I prefer artificial diamonds. That way I know that someone didn't suffer to get the diamonds for me. James says, no toxic waste products. Spooky says, no diamonds for you. Ox says, go online. You can have loved ones that have passed away into diamonds. Yes, you can have them turned into diamonds, which I actually think is quite cool. James Henry says, bollocks, USA equals capitalism gone bad. And small family grocer cannot compete with big supermarkets. Lone Wanderer says, blame Thatcher. Godless Sewing says, nepotism is ruining America. The problem is, even though I directly...
The small business does compete with the big business when you take all the parameters into account.
No, I will tell you what screwed it. No, shush, Jenny. Do you want to know what's broken? Jenny, do you want to know what's broken small business? More than anything else?
The internet.
I'm waiting.
Carbon. No, not the internet. Carbon. It's the fact that we're not taxing carbon. Carbon is not being put out at cost. That's the single biggest thing that has screwed small business. Because big business can have a warehouse 200, 300, 400, 500 miles away and deliver to you at the same price as a small business. That shouldn't be the case. The cost...
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, is that if all the parameters are taken into account, that the small business is not more expensive in the long run. It may be at that moment that you pull out $1.25 out of your pocket and pay for something versus $1 at the big guy, but that 25 cents is easily consumed with the untennables.
Yes, I mean the point is every economic system I have studied, and oddly enough, includes within capitalism, says that the more locally you spend your money, the better for your life, for your society.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And everything.
There's a documentary out there called "Walmart Killed the Mom and Pop Store," and the band that was trying to sell their records couldn't sell them locally in the record stores because they all disappeared because Walmart moved into town and had all the rights to selling whatever Britney Spears CDs they had and stuff like that, and all the the music kind of went away locally.
But you even see this with just in like. You take your average sort of like high street. If you take like in Britain, like most sort of towns or certainly villages in Britain or whatever, you always used to have like one thing you always used to have, for example, was a local baker. Now, if there's a baker there, it's going to be a Greg's. Yeah, that's just the effect that you kind of had.
Yeah.
Having said that, we have local bakers.
Do they make all their own goods?
We have had local bakers go out of business who have begun their business in the last 20 years, for example, and they last and people love their product and the quality is incredible, and they employ a whole bunch of different people, and they go out of business because people won't buy their the mass of people won't buy their product because it's not as convenient.
Nope.
And people are happy to say they're willing to pay for convenience, but it's not convenience. It's a fake convenience. It's convenient for you for the moment, but it's inconvenient for the society.
Oddly enough, people, I've read some stuff, and I don't know where I stand on this because I don't fully understand it yet, about the fact that whether or not our bread is a lot worse for us than it used to be, based on the industrial process used to grow it now.
They say that the nutritional element of or quantities of nutrients in wheat has gone down.
Oh, that's due to
that's partly that's our farming systems that we use.
Yeah, that's not the bread itself. The bread, because we massively pump yeast into it now to make it to make the rising process faster and more reliable. Something like that. I can't remember.
I don't know what they do to make putty bread into putty bread.
I don't get you guys saying, there's not a local pie shop or a local bakery that you can just go to. Because I still have that.
Yeah.
No, we still have it. It's just no one uses them.
There's one in walking distance from where I live at the moment.
I live in a town of 900 people. Why is there not a bakery in my town?
Well, the town I'm moving to when I move from here has only got 5,000 people in it, and it's got 3 bakeries, and one of them's an award winner.
Exactly.
I want to say something else about bakery. We have bakeries here, but every bakery we have here now that's local does not make its own stuff. It just cooks it.
Yeah,
but ours do.
Bakery. James Henry says, "I'm not paying €6 for a baker." And Lone Wanderer says, I could do a whole segment on bread due to the changes we can't digest the bread properly anymore. See, that's what I thought.
Well, some people have gluten issues, but the majority.
No,
of
it's
people
not
don't.
gluten issues. It's to do with how the bread. It's to do with the processing of the bread. How you make the bread now. It's not gluten that's the issue.
Is that why all my local women are growing mustaches?
It may well be.
No, that's
Right.
that's
Right
the
there,
trend.
right there.
That's
Okay.
that's the trend.
We have to we have to move on from this question. One word answers. One word answers. Get rid of money or credit. Jen.
Money.
Money.
I'm going to say
Randy.
money then.
You're gonna say money. Randy.
Money.
Money.
Catnip. Still gone. Damn.
She was back a moment ago.
No.
It's gone again.
Wait a minute.
James said money. I'll go
She
money
just-
as well.
She just said money. I heard her.
Did she?
Yeah, she said money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Right.
you, Dave?
I said money.
You said money. Oh, we all agree then.
What time are we at? Oh, we are on our penultimate question now, which means we've skipped over. Oh no, we can do that one. We'll do 3 more questions,
Okay.
and then I'll move that one up because it's a stupid question. Right, question.
The other ones weren't?
No, it's a really stupid question. You'll see.
Well,
Did I
this
hear the
last
word
question-
stupid? Here I am. What happened?
This last question
you've
was
got time to
excellent.
answer the question.
Oh,
so
yeah.
money or credit?
Look
Money
at
or
the fun
credit?
discussion we had.
I don't know enough about either to give a valid opinion, so I'll go with money because that's what Jenny and Jen said, and I trust them.
But that's what everyone said.
She's bowing to peer pressure.
Going to peer pressure, yeah.
No, I just have respect for the other 2 ladies on this panel, and I know that they wouldn't lead me
you.
wrong.
Thank you, honey.
And
I
we
would never do
respect
that.
and love you too.
Because I know dudes are full of shit.
We've discovered that we need to
Except
pay prostitutes with
by the
bread
way,
now.
we did give the same answers as the ladies, just so you know.
I'm sure you did.
But
But
it
I
was
trust
right
them
because
more.
the lady said it.
Yeah. I mean, but we had to mansplain it to them first. But
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
That's why I wanted them to not have to.
Daddy,
I don't need to be mansplained to.
Daddy, thank you for teaching me that. I didn't know.
you're quite welcome, dear.
Daddy, why do they call it a
You shouldn't do stuff like that. Hey, Jeff, you shouldn't be doing
Why do you
stuff like
eat that
that. Trust me, I
horrible
know. I've been
Marmite
disappointing
stuff?
women
It's
for
so
years.
If you enjoyed that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. If you think you've got a better answer or just want to tell us how wrong we are, leave a comment down below. Subscribe down here for new questions every day and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on our live shows. If you click over here, you'll see our latest upload. Over here, for what YouTube thinks you'll love the most. And finally, for a complete playlist of all our currently released questions, click here.